in this video we are going to start second part of management of late preterm labor. So for the management of late preterm labor we give corticosteroids. So why we are giving corticosteroids? To maturation of the lung. So we need to wait and watch, no induction labor. We should not do any induction labor. We should wait and watch because we want the lungs to mature, and we should take a rectovaginal swab for checking group B streptococci. And now coming to note, tocolytics are not given greater than or equal to 34 weeks of pregnancy. Note, tocolytics not given greater than or equal to 34 weeks of pregnancy. They are not given also in active labor, like when the cervix is greater than or equal to 6 cm dilated. In that case also will not give tocolytics. And also in the case of abruptio, placenta, premature rupture of membranes, in all these cases we will not give. And also cases of preterm labor, rectovaginal swab is taken for group V streptococcus. In preterm labor less than 34 weeks, give tocolytics. Here see, tocolytics should not be given greater than 34 weeks. And if the cervix is greater than 6 cm, if abruptio placenta is present, if pre-rupture membranes is present, in all these cases don't use tocolytics. But you need to give tocolytics less than 34 weeks. You can give tocolytics only if cervix is less than 6 cm. So this thing is very important. And now coming to tocolytics. So what tocolytics you are going to give? The tocolytic of choice is nifedipine. So especially the tocolytic of choice in heart diseases is atosiban, that is oxytocin antagonist, greater than nifedipine in the case of heart diseases. Okay, and tocolytics with maximum maternal side effects. Maximum maternal side effects are beta agonists. So what are those beta agonists? They are like ritodrine, they are like isoxsuprine, and they are like terbutaline, salbutamol. Most common side effect is tremors. Some other side effects are hyperglycemia, hypokalemia, pulmonary edema. So all these are seen as side effects. So tocolytic of choice in diabetes is nifedipine, and tocolytics which have maximum fetal side effects is a PG synthesis inhibitor, that is indomethacin. Indomethacin side effects are oligohydramnios, premature closure of ductus arteriosus, and you have should not be used. Should not be used. Indomethacin not used greater than 32 weeks of pregnancy. Okay, now coming to magnesium sulfate. Magnesium sulfate has tocolytic property when it is given at 9 to 10 milliequivalents per liter, but it is usually not used as tocolytics, but it is used as a neuroprotective agent, like in a somewhat lower doses. Now coming to following have no role in established preterm labor, that is antibiotics. Antibiotics don't have any role in preterm labor unless preterm labor is due to infection or associated with premature rupture of membrane, then antibiotics have role, otherwise no role. Next coming to progesterone. Progesterone is used to prevent, and it is not a tocolytic. Okay, so now let us discuss about the management of early preterm labor. So coming to management early preterm labor, okay, is corticosteroids, magnesium sulfate. As it is early, we need to give tocolytics, and also take rectovaginal swab. The shape of cervix in preterm labor, normal shape is T shape. From T shape it will change to Y shape. From Y shape it will change to V shape. From that to U shape. So U shape is preterm labor. So the shape of cervix is changing like this. Now let us discuss about premature rupture of membrane, PROM, and another one, that is preterm premature rupture of membrane, that is PPROM. Okay, so let us discuss these two cases. First, normally the membrane rupture at full dilation of cervix, end of first stage of labor. So end of first stage of labor, when the cervix fully dilates, then normally the membrane rupture. But premature rupture of membrane means the membrane rupture is greater than or equal to 37 weeks but before onset of labor. So before onset of labor only, that is greater than 36 weeks if the membrane is ruptured, that is premature rupture. So what is preterm membrane rupture? That is the rupture of membrane less than 37 weeks. So less than 37 weeks, preterm premature rupture. Premature rupture of membrane greater than 37 weeks. Okay, so what is artificial rupture? Artificial rupture of membrane is to augment labor. Sometimes in some people we don't have labor, so we need to rupture the membrane so that prostaglandin will be released, and by that there is augmentation of labor. Now let us see prolonged membrane rupture. Prolonged PROM is if membranes are ruptured greater than or equal to 24 hours. So for 24 hours if the members are ruptured, that is prolonged PROM. So first step, how to do this? First step is sterile per scapulum examination. Per vaginum is contraindicated. Per vaginum contraindicated. Only use per speculum examination. Best investigation is USG, that is if there is low amniotic fluid, and fetal fibronectin is positive, that is it is greater than 50 nanograms per milliliter. And another test which you can do is nitrazine test. So if you remember previous videos, we already discussed about this nitrazine test, that is amniotic fluid is alkaline, vaginal pH is acidic. So introduce nitrazine paper. If it turns blue, then it's alkaline, then amniotic fluid, then it is representing pre-rupture of membranes. If turns yellow acidic, then vaginal discharge. Now coming to a Fern test. This is a new test. Fern test is take the discharge from mother vagina. Check under microscopy. If ferning is present, it's amniotic fluid. Okay, so membranes are ruptured. If beaded appearance, vaginal discharge. Okay, so problems with premature rupture of membrane: increased chance of infection, that is chorioamnionitis. So in premature rupture of membranes, PROM, use antibiotics, induction of labor, not going to give tocolytics, not going to wait and watch, and use rectovaginal swab. So these are the rules which you need to follow in premature rupture of membrane. Now let us see somewhat details of preterm premature rupture, that is PPRM. So PPRM, lungs are not matured here, that is less than 32 weeks, do neuroprotection, that is give magnesium sulfate, and it is also leading to chorioamnionitis. Okay, so management of this preterm is in 34 to 37 weeks we should give immediately corticosteroids, we should give antibiotics. So remember, in premature rupture you will not use antibiotics. Here you need to use antibiotics and induction of labor and also rectovaginal swab. Of course there also we are using antibiotics. Okay, so now coming to management of this, if it is less than 34 weeks, so if it is between 34 to 37 you'll do this. If it is less than 34 weeks, then also corticosteroids, magnesium sulfate, okay, antibiotics such as erythromycin, and also add rectovaginal swab. So if no contraction present, then no need of tocolytics. Try to take this pregnancy till 34 weeks unless maternal infection and fetal distress. Okay, so what are the signs and symptoms of chorioamnionitis? We are going to see. So signs and symptoms are increased PR, foul smell discharge, increased CRP, increased TLC, and uterine tenderness. So this all you need to observe. So by this we complete this lecture on preterm labor. Okay, and next we'll start with fetal monitoring.